All right, um, back on the weight loss train. This time I'm going to focus a little bit more on health than on weight loss. Um, I think that might be a bit of a healthier avenue for me. So then that way I'm not focusing so much on the weight loss, not focusing on my weight every week, but focusing instead on building healthy habits. Um, that I can sustain for the rest of my life, theoretically, hopefully. So that's kind of the goal. I'm following a whole food, plant based diet, or way of eating, whatever you want to call it. Which means that I'm eating mostly whole fruits and vegetables, with some nuts and seeds, and some grains, stuff like that, but mostly fruits and vegetables, mostly vegetables. But I found a meal delivery system because I like the delivered meals, the prepared meals. I found a system that does whole food plant based with salt, oil, and sugar free meals, which I can add a little salt to if I need to. But it will help me with the no sugar, uh, and it'll also help me with health. I think it's really, really important to eat healthily, as many fruits and vegetables as possible. Um, so I figure it's good for me. I can clean up my diet because I've been eating a lot of really processed foods, a lot of vegan junk food, basically. So things like pizza and barbecue tempeh, um, French fries and potato chips, and those snap pea crisp things. Um, and then when I was eating sugar, of course, there were pastries and cookies and candies and all sorts of things on top of that. Um, but yeah, so I think that for myself, that when I eat one of something that causes binges for me, or that I have binged on in the past, when I eat one of something, I eat all of that thing. Um, and then I also have the tendency to want to eat more of that thing over time. So let's say I have one cupcake, um, which is what happened to me a few years back. Someone gifted me a cupcake. They went out of their way to buy one for me, special, that was vegan and gluten free, but it did have sugar in it. So I ate it, to be polite, and then I ended up compounding that with more and more sugar to the point where I was suddenly binging again, and it was constant. I have bigger binges and mini binges. The mini binges will be where I'll eat, say, a whole bag of potato chips. And a full blown binge will be that whole bag of potato chips plus four cupcakes plus um, four cream horns plus ice cream plus a fast food meal plus whatever, until I can't eat anymore physically. So those are the kind of binges for me and what I classify them as. So yeah, this time around, I started eating sugar, because I had started drinking juice again, because of the split tongue and then the gum surgery that I had. I was on liquid food, so I wanted to make sure I was getting enough calories in, which I was without the juice. But I started including juice in my day. Juice obviously is a sugar for me. And then I started including a juice sweetened jelly, into my oatmeal. So I put peanut butter and jelly in my oatmeal, unsweetened peanut butter, and then the fruit sweetened jelly, which sounds fine, but I was eating 3, 4 bowls a day. of this oatmeal and wanting more. So it was becoming a problem. And then I started having the sugar cravings again. And then one day they just got so bad that I just went to the store, bought a bunch of sugar, and binged. Um, it had been coming for a while. I'd almost done it several times. But I think that it was the juice and that jelly in particular that led me to that point. Um, so now knowing that just really sweet things are a trigger for me is good to know. So I'm going to stay away from, the maple syrup and all that kind of stuff this time. I think some things sweetened with dates, like Lara bars, that are just going to be fruits, nuts, and dates, are going to be okay for now. So far, I haven't eaten. I think the most Lara bars I've eaten at a time were two. So not nowhere near a binge, not even a mini binge. Um, so I think that I can manage those in moderation for lunches because I like to eat a Lara bar for lunch with a piece of fruit and some nuts. Um, and that's a pretty good lunch for me. It gets me a good amount of calories. It's really easy to carry with me. It's really easy to eat, and I can kind of take that anywhere. I can't eat apples right now because of the gum surgery, and my front bottom teeth are loose because of that, and the infection that was there, which is why the surgery happened. So I can't eat apples anymore, at least not bite into them. So I just decided to not eat them because I could see myself biting into one without thinking so easily if they just happen to be here. So I'm eating bananas now. And in my oatmeal in the mornings, I have frozen blueberries. So I'm getting actually more fruit than I was getting before because I was just eating apples and that was it. But now I have oatmeal with blueberries in the morning and some coffee. Because for anyone that's followed me on Facebook, you'll know that I tried to give up coffee and caffeine, ended up with a resurgence of my sciatica. Um, and that was the only thing that could have caused it. So I figured, and after talking with my mom on the phone, decided to drink a cup of coffee and see what happened. 20 minutes later, the sciatica was gone. So to me, that just told me that caffeine is in my life for now. I may try to give it up again in the future. Uh, Maybe when I'm also not changing my diet and giving up in the beginning stages of giving up sugar as well. Because I think I'm about 8 or 9 days off of sugar right now. So I'm still early on in the process. And yeah, so not doing too much at once. So it may be that caffeine can be removed from my diet later, or I could reduce it with like mixing a half and half of caffeinated and decaf coffee and then kind of scaling it down. Um, excuse me. I do love the taste of coffee, so I may just continue on with decaf coffee after a while, and then that way I would know that I could drink or not drink the coffee and be fine because I wouldn't have the caffeine or caffeine withdrawals to deal with. But I don't want to do that while I'm away from home or while I'm out doing something. I want to make sure that if I do caffeine withdrawal again, it's when I'm home and when I have control and have access to coffee in case I need it, and in case the same thing happens again. Um, let's see what else. Oh, after a week of imperfectly transitioning, I decided to try transitioning into this whole food plant based way of eating, mainly for money reasons. Because it's the end of January, I work for the state. We got paid early in December. I had car to replace the whole engine in my car in November. I had to pay for my class this semester. I had to get the emergency gum surgery. So I had a lot of stuff going on in November and December. So January has been a very tough month. Financially speaking. So I decided to do what I could that was the least expensive way to manage food until then. So I ate what I had, started replacing things. So I had still had some of that fruit juice sweetened jam or jelly that I slowly replaced. And then I got the frozen blueberries and started using those instead of my oatmeal. Um, and then for lunches, I ate up the rest of the oil roasted peanuts that I had. And then now I'm using, because they were all I could find at the store, raw almonds. So not roasted in oil, so it's just almonds. So I'm eating those with lunch, and the Lar bars are still good. They people eat them on a raw food diet, so I figure they're good for a whole food plant based diet. Close enough anyway. If that's my only concession, that's fine by me, with that piece of fruit. And then for dinners, lately I've been having frozen vegan meals. Um, so because they're cheaper than the prepared meals that I was having previously. So I wanted to um, do what I could to make it as sustainable and as inexpensive as possible for now. And then I found a new company that I'm going to use. Whole Harvest, I believe, is what it's called. Fresh and Lean has been great, and I've loved their food, but they don't do whole food plant based. There's a lot of oil in some of their meals, like so much that there's oil left in the bottom of the tray and stuff like that. So if I'm avoiding oil, then I definitely want to find a new company, one that doesn't use oil. And Whole Harvest sounds like a good one. Um, let's see here. After 1 week, 1 week of imperfectly doing it, I lost 4.2 pounds. I know most of that's water weight, so I'm not looking at that as a constant kind of goal to see every week or anything like that. Um, I understand that it'll probably be around 1 to 2 pounds a week, which will be on average pretty good, steady progress. Um, my goal weight is still what it was before, the 145 to 150. Um, I've been down to 147 before, and I felt really comfortable there. So if I can find myself within that range, I feel pretty good there, which is good. Um, so that is what it is. The plan moving forward: whole food, plant based, avoiding the junk food, avoiding the processed foods, avoiding the sugar, avoiding the oils, avoiding those foods that I binge on, that having one isn't enough ever. When one of these days, I'll talk a little bit about binging and what it all feels like for me. But basically, to sum it all up, one is never enough of those foods. Um, so even if it's just only when I eat out or whatever kind of thing, um, it leads to more always. So for my best health, I've decided to cut them out of my diet. Maybe forever, maybe not. Um, but just to see kind of how things go when I do and how I feel. Because the last time that I lost the weight and got down to the weight that I was comfortable at, the 147, it was because I gave up the processed foods. I wasn't eating them. Um, so that's kind of what did it for me, and that's what I want to continue doing, because it works for me. Um, Eating out is going to be tricky. I understand that fully. But I don't actually eat out that often. I order out more often than I eat out. So if I order out, that means I'm already at home. I'm sitting here anyway. If I'm eating my prepared meal, then I won't have a need to order out. I'll save money by not ordering out, and it'll help me in the long run because I need to save a little money. And it would just be beneficial all around, I think. So, yeah, that's the plan. That's where I'm at. There's my update. Bye, y'all.